Hello there, amazing viewers and subscribers. Welcome to a brand new exciting Doctor Who topic video for today. So technically I've been asked a question for the last couple of days, basically, is Doctor Who season 20 a good season or a bad season? So we all know basically around about last year, around about September, October, we had Doctor Who The Collection season 20 released, and I've recently been asked, is it a good season? Is it a bad season? What are my general thoughts on this season? So for this season, I've literally got the actual Fantastic Doctor The Collection season 20 box set here, because as I'm talking about the season in general, and of course it hasn't got the J card, because the J card fell apart when I tried to fit everything into these fantastic Blu-ray protectors. So season 20, what can I say about it? Is it a good season? Is it a bad season? Well, it's actually quite of an alright season. Not good. Well, technically it is good, but it's not bad. It's just alright. It's literally a good season. I actually quite enjoy season 20. So I'm going to talk about the stories and basically what do I think about it in general for Peter Davison and where it is in my Peter Davison ranking, considering that I've just finished rewatching season 19 over a month ago. So season 20, it is a fantastic season. I do quite enjoy it, and it really does celebrate 20 years of Doctor Who. Because this season, we have the return of the major villains. So like the very first story, we have the return of Omega, who was last seen back in season 10, aka in the Three Doctors. Then, of course, we have the return of the Mara. As we all know, the Mara is one of the pantheon of gods. Basically, that was mentioned in The Legend of Ruby Sunday in the latest season of Doctor Who. And that was actually quite good. I do like the fact that they've actually included the Mara into the list of gods for the Pantheon. And I really like to see the return of the Mara. So basically, this is the second story for the Mara after a season, because the Mara did basically make its debut in season 19, and of course it came back in season 20. We see the return of the Black Guardian from season 16. I would actually love the Black Guardian to return as well. I have got a list of videos, basically what I want to make of what gods I think should come back in season 2, possibly in season 3. Now we are kind of going into the kind of like god territory. And then, of course, we have the return of the Master for the season finale. And, of course, we have a multi-Doctor story. And, of course, the Five Doctors, where we see the return of quite a few Doctor Who villains. Now, season 20, the best story at this season definitely has to go to basically the Five Doctors. It doesn't matter what version of the Five Doctors I'm watching. Am I watching the original 1983 version? Am I watching the 2023 version? Or if I'm watching the 1995 version? It doesn't matter to me. The Five Doctors is still a fantastic, amazing story, and I just absolutely genuinely love the Five Doctors. Is it a bad story? No, it's actually one of the greatest stories from classic Doctor Who. Or as David Tennant, aka the 10th and 14th Doctor, says, the Three Doctors and a half, because of Richard Handel playing William Hartnell. So this season, it is actually a really good season. It really celebrates 20 years of Doctor Who. It really does that. Peter Davison is honestly one of the best things about this season, because season 19, you can tell that's literally Peter Davison trying to find his feet, where season 21, to me, is actually his strongest season because of the whole darker stories that we see happening to his Doctor, from basically Warriors of the Deep up to basically the case of Androsani, where basically he's around a lot of deaths and stuff going on during season 21. Season 20, it is deaths in it, but you know what? They're not really classed as good deaths as you get to like in season 21, where basically in the very first story everybody dies: Silurians, Sea Devils, and humans. There should have been another way. So I'm literally going to talk about basically the stories. So the first story is, of course, Arc of Infinity, and this is a Gallifreyan story, not just a Gallifreyan story. It does have some great filming location in, of course, Amsterdam. And, of course, it has that fantastic shot where you got Peter Davison kind of playing the Doctor. And, of course, he's playing another version of Omega, who's basically using the Doctor's biological techno-bubble thing. You know, using the Doctor's biological code and basically making a duplicate of the Fifth Doctor. So Peter Davison does kind of play Omega, and he does play the Fifth Doctor as well. And of course, you've got that fantastic chase scene around Amsterdam, which is something a little bit later on they do try in a comedy known as Only Fools and Horses to hold them back, where they kind of did that massive, fantastic pan shot where basically you got the chase between Dal Rodney and, you know, Uncle Albert. It's like that. It really is like that. It really reminds me a little bit of the Only Fools and Horses thing, where you still have literally got those three. You got Omega going, leg it, and of course you've just got the Doctor, Tegan and Nyssa trying to catch Omega, and of course the Doctor goes, it is over, Omega, And of course, I just absolutely love that shot. And of course, seeing when the Fifth Doctor actually does shoot Omega himself. Now, Omega, is that the end of him? Well, no, I like to think not. I like to think that we do have the return of Omega coming out at some point. I would like to see Omega return to the show. Because I honestly absolutely flipping love Omega. He's such a great villain. And I'd like to see the return of him. The Mara. Now, this is my favourite story for the Mara, aka Snake Dance. Now, do I prefer Snake Dance over Kinder? Yes. It is a milestone better over Kinder. Now, there are fans out there that prefer Kinder over Snake Dance, but I prefer Snake Dance over Kinder. And it is such a great story. It really is. I really love Snake Dance. And of course, we have Doc Martens in this episode as well, because it's his very first television debut. And his very first television debut is, of course, in Doctor Who, which is something I absolutely love. It's absolutely brilliant and fantastic to actually have that. I love the voice of the Mara as well. And I really love that shot with the Mara, basically, when you can see the snake tattoo moving onto different people's arms and stuff. It's really so good. It just absolutely is fantastic. Mordrin Undead. Now, this is basically where we see the return of the Black Guardian from Season 16's final story, aka the Armageddon Factor, but after basically he threatened to kill the Doctor. Where in this story, he's basically trying to use Tarlo to try and kill the Fifth Doctor, aka the whole Black Guardian trilogy. But the story also features the return of the Brigadier, and of course there's two versions of the Brigadier. There's one from 1977 and one from 1983. Now, the one from 1983 has lost his memory. He doesn't remember the Doctor, he doesn't remember the TARDIS, and of course he really doesn't remember information and stuff, until basically the Doctor is there talking to him, saying maybe it was the Yeti or the Cybermen. And I love that fantastic shot where you've just got the Brigadier kind of looking up into the ceiling, and he's just there remembering. And of course you've got clips from basically the Web of Fear, the Invasion, then of course Spare from Space for John Pertwee, and a few other stories like the Cause of Axos for John Pertwee. And then of course you got the Tom Baker incident with the big giant robot, and of course the Zygons, which is the Brigadier's last basically television story from Doctor Who, from Classic Who, because basically that story was from 1975, and of course this is from 1983. So the Brigadier has been away from the show for quite a number of years, so it's actually quite nice to see him return. And when he does return, he goes, "Well, you've done it again, Doctor. You've changed." And of course the Doctor's there putting a cube of sugar into his tea, and he's there smiling. I really love that shot.
On. Orcs in mode.
I really do love that shot. It is absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely amazing. I just genuinely love that shot. I really do love it. And then, of course, we have Terminus, which is basically Nissa's last story. Very, very disappointing companion departure. Now, the one thing about Doctor Who is when you do a companion departure, some people, especially in modern Who, half of them technically end up dead. Amy got stabbed by Weeping Angel and we kind of saw her die. Then, of course, we see Clara die, but in fact, she does come back to life. And then, of course, we see Bill get turned into a Cyberman. So, basically, in the majority of the modern era of the show, people die. But then, of course, during the effects of the classic era, you just see people depart the Doctor, like Joe, Victoria, Jamie basically had his mind wiped with Zoe. So, it isn't really very memorable for Nyssa. Nyssa's departure story isn't very memorable. That's the thing. It's not very memorable. It's not, it's not very one of those stories where you think, oh, let's go and watch a classic departure. Let's go and see. What shall we watch? Let's go and watch Joe Grant. No, let's go and watch The Hand of Fear for Sarah Joe's departure. What about Nyssa? When did Nyssa live? Oh, she left halfway through a trilogy. Yeah, she left in the second story of the trilogy. Is it a good departure? No, not really. There's no build up to it. It's just literally 1 minute she's there and she goes, "Doctor, I'm going to stay. Bye." It's just kind of like that. And it's just like, oh, okay, there's not really much to it. Then, of course, we have Enlightenment. And, of course, you got basically the return of the White Guardian from Season 16 as well. And I love that little ball of light, basically, of Enlightenment, where you kind of got the White Guardian, the Black Guardian kind of having that chest mask. And, of course, Tyler throws it to him. And, of course, he does burst into frames. And everybody thinks the Black Guardian's dead. But then when the White Guardian says, as long as there is a White Guardian, the Black Guardian will always be about. And I think after 40 odd years, we should have the return of the Black Guardian. It's been 40 years since the character basically burst into flames. As long as there's a White Guardian, there will always be a Black Guardian. So yeah, I really think we need the return of the Black Guardian. Imagine the Black Guardian trying to kill the 15th Doctor. Knowing the writing, they've probably made the 15th Doctor cry a bit. Oh my God, the Black Guardian's back. You know, kind of a bit like that, but it doesn't really matter. I love to see the return of the Black Guardian. As long as they don't make him a bit of a joke like they did with Sutek. Because Sutek does kind of feel a little bit of a joke by the end of Empire of Death, where they literally put him on a leash and took him into the Time Vortex. Even though I do quite enjoy that two-parter. I enjoyed the part 1 over part 2 a little bit more. The King's Demon, it's a fun two-parter. The King's Demons is honestly a fantastic two-parter. It's absolutely brilliant. I really love the fact we have the reveal of Anthony Ainley. You can tell it's Anthony Ainley through the mask. You know, it's like, oh, look, it's the Master. It's Anthony Ainley. Oh, he could be playing a different character. No, he's playing the Master. How do you know? Just trust me, he's actually playing the Master. Oh, okay, let's see. Later on in the episode, he reveals to be the Master. Yeah, he's playing the Master. Told you. How did you know? You know, it's just one of those situations where you can literally have a drinking game or have a pint of beer and you literally go, oh, look, it's Anthony Ainley. Bottle, blob. The one thing about the 80s, even though Anthony Ainley is my favourite Master, the amount of times they literally do put him in ridiculous disguises, it does take a little bit of the joke a little bit. And that's the thing. I love Anthony Ainley's Master. He is my favourite incarnation of Master. But I do think in King's Demons, he's basically played off as a little joke with the whole joke of the face. You know, you can tell it's literally the Master in a disguise. Oh, no, it's not. Yes, it is. It's Anthony Ainley. Oh, he's playing a different character. No, he's playing the Master. You know, it's just like that. And you could have a drinking game. That's one thing about the King's Demons. They literally just put the Master in a ridiculous outfit. And you can tell it's him. And the fact literally got the TARDIS team. And Time Lords are supposed to be each other. So how the hell does the Doctor not realise he is the Master? I have no idea. That's the one thing I'm like, he's the Master. He's the Master. He's the bloody Master. Come on, Doctor. Figure it out. And then, of course, you just got the Doctor and the Master having that sword fight, which is actually quite good in part 2. And then, of course, we have the 5 Doctors, which is honestly my favourite story of this season. I love the 5 Doctors. I love the fact we open up with William Hartnell saying, one day I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go for it in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine. I just love the 5 Doctors. I love the fact we have Patrick Troughton and John Pertwee back. That's the one thing about it. Now, I always love the 3 Doctors because I love how the 3rd and 2nd Doctors just absolutely bicker. So the fact this story is like, what, 10 years later since 1973? And these 2 Doctors are literally still bickering at each other. It's still quite funny. I love it. Fancy Pants, Scarecrow. I love it. I really just love it. I just love how these 2 Doctors are with each other. Now, some people say, oh, the 2nd Doctor, the 3rd Doctor will get along. No. These 2 incarnations of the Doctor don't really get along unless they have to. And that's the one thing. And you do see that playing again with Patrick Troughton, with Colin Baker. It's like Patrick Troughton doesn't really like people playing his other versions, his future versions, because you could actually say the 2nd Doctor does like, you know, it's like the 2nd Doctor is absolutely brilliant. I love it. I really do love it. And of course, I like how he goes talking where he kind of got this guy go, there you are. I mean, there I am. No, there you are. There I am. You know, I love it. I really do love it. And of course, I just love how basically all say goodbye. So, you're the latest one, are you? Yes. I shame our jest code has not improved. Neither has our manners. Well, I'd like to say goodbye, my young fellow. You did quite well. Quite well. I am glad my future is in safe hands. I just absolutely love the 5 Doctors, man. It's such a great story. And for callbacks as well. There are just so many great villains to return. Like, we have the Cybermen, we have a Dalek, we've got the Master. And, of course, we even have the return of the Yeti. And, of course, companions do make a return. We have Susan's return. We have kind of like phantoms of Jamie and Victoria, Liz Shaw, Captain Mike Yates. But then, of course, though, you do have Sarah Jane. We have the Brigadiers return. And, of course, we literally do have Tegan and Tarlo together. And I just love it. So you got this season, well, this story has got so many iconic returns. The Daleks return after a 5-year rest. The Cybermen return after nearly a year of rest. Well, technically just over a year, because they appeared in the March time slot for season 19, and of course the story came out in November 1983, so they literally had a year and a quarter off of a break, which is actually brilliant. And then, of course, they didn't return in 1984, but they did return in 1985. So I like the fact that Cybermen aren't so overused in the 80s, because you see them in 1982. They kind of have a bit of a year and a little bit off before you get to the Five Doctors, and then they have more of a year break before we see them return in season 22. And then they have, like, what, 2 seasons break with season 23 and 24, when no Cybermen, and they come back in season 25. I love that, the fact the 80s do kind of split the Cybermen's return in a little bit of a gap sort of thing, which is absolutely brilliant. So, yeah. The question I was asked, is season 20 a good season? Well, it is. It honestly is a good season. I absolutely love season 20. It's just such an iconic season. Now, out of my favourite Peter Davison seasons, how I rank based on his 3 seasons, it goes to me season 21, season 20, followed by season 19. I'm sorry to all you lovers out there going, oh, season 19 is better than season 20 and 21. No. Season 21 is still my Peter Davison's favourite season. I just love season 21. This is my second favourite season of Peter Davison. Season 19, yeah, I do like some of the stories. I mean, I love Castrofalba. I love a little bit of Fall to Doomsday. I absolutely love I absolutely love the Visitation and Earthshock, which are 4 best stories of the season, followed by a story from 7 seasons. I do actually quite enjoy season 28 over season 19. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of season 20? Is it one that you enjoy? Is it one that you do not enjoy? Let me know in the comments. Please do like, subscribe and share. And join me for more awesome Doctor Who content.